Hey guys, Super Atom Bomb here, and I recently watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It was quite a strange movie. Keep in mind, this review will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. Now without further ado, here is my review for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. First, let's start off with the negatives. The character arcs don't feel quite satisfying. Strange's arc doesn't feel like it has a real conclusion. Throughout the movie, he keeps telling himself that he's happy and hides the fact that he truly isn't. After he meets an alternate dimension version of Christine, he sort of just keeps loving her and kind of accepts the fact that he ain't happy. I feel like it would have been way more compelling to have him let go of Christine and find true happiness elsewhere. Wanda is made out to be the villain for this movie, but it feels weird since last we saw her she let go of her family for the good of others, for only now to see her be this whole mustache-twirly villain. She reminded me of Cortana from Halo 5, just done a little bit better. But of course, in the end of the movie, she sacrifices her life to make up for her mistakes, which is just a less compelling version of her arc in WandaVision. America's, arc is the worst of the three. Her whole thing is that she is the only being that can travel through dimensions. By the way, it is never explained how she got these powers. You're just supposed to roll with it. And her whole tragic backstory is so bad that I had to control myself from laughing in the theater. So, apparently, when she was a child, she got scared of a bee, which caused her to activate her powers, creating a portal, seemingly killing her parents. Yep, this is her backstory. Why have our hero go through moral dilemmas about what they're doing and the pain that their actions cause onto others in order to ultimately make the right decision, when you can instead have your hero get morbidly terrified of a bee? Well, anyway, she can't control these powers, and at the end of the movie, Strange gives a pep talk that magically makes her able to use her powers flawlessly. Marvel seemed to be trying to make this movie really spooky, but I never felt the movie to be truly scary. I mean, yeah, there were some jump scares, but jump scares don't leave a lasting impression. They just kind of startle you for a bit and then they're off. I was expecting some really tense scenes that would put me on the edge of my seat, but it's hard to do that when your main character is a superhero. One last thing before we get to the positives. The group in this movie called the Illuminati was heavily underutilized. They serve little to no purpose in the grand scheme of things. Sure, it was cool to see Peggy Carter as Captain Britain from What If, and I liked seeing Patrick Stewart reprise his role as Professor X, but they are there just to get killed off by Wanda later, which I'm kinda sad about. I would have loved to see more of these characters. Getting to see Peggy in her Captain Britain outfit on the big screen was great, but she gets sliced in half only mere moments later. So now let's get into the positives. The creativity presented here is amazing. I especially love this scene when Doctor Strange and America were hopping through realities and how each one was incredibly different. One moment you'll be in an animated world, only to be thrust into a world made out of paint. I also like the idea of turning Wanda into a full-on slasher villain. Though it wasn't executed as well as it could have, the idea of having a Marvel villain be more in line in what you'd see in a horror film, and having said villain be a former hero on top of that is really interesting concept. The visuals are also just freaking stunning. The different types of atmosphere you get in certain universes are all great. This movie was an interesting one to say the least. It's pretty good, but definitely not without its flaws. I'd rate this movie a 6.5 out of 10. Not perfect, but certainly a fun time.